Welcome to the show where anything could happen. The real play experience where we put players against problems with no easy answers, incomplete information, and always against a ticking clock. Coming up in this episode. We find ourselves at a formal adjudication hearing aboard the UFR diplomatic station Horizon Relay 7, in orbit around the frontier colony of LHS 1140B, a sparsely populated but strategically crucial outer system world known for its mineral exports and the precarious proximity to unregulated space. For months, the colony on LHS 1140B has been flooded with illicit stimulant implants, smuggled in by criminal networks operating along an already impoverished fringe trade route. Addiction rates have risen, violence has increased, and public confidence in the colonial government has collapsed. Under enormous pressure, a local faction calling itself the Vigilant Tide has begun to illegally start to attack suspected smuggler vessels in outbound space. Their actions violate UFR law and the moratorium on autonomous security actions, as well as multiple interstellar trade accords. But within the colony, they're wildly popular. The UFR has convened this emergency hearing to determine whether the colonial government is acting within the bounds of the law and what must change. How can the UFR take control of the situation without making things worse? And of course, anything can happen.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I'm playing Governor Lily Callahan, a governor for this colony, and just really trying to take care of my constituents.
Hi everyone, I'm Miko, a professional storyteller and actual play performer, and I am today playing the trade advisor Galeb Dro, who is desperately trying to make sure that this particular colony doesn't destroy itself.
Hello everyone, I'm Karim Kronfli, I'm an actor and voice actor, and I'm playing Ambassador Craddock Keene, trying to smooth the heightened tensions in this particular scenario.
Hi, I'm Chris Payne, the game developer, actor, role player, and tonight I am playing Colony Councillor Evander Halleck, representative of the Vigilantes, the Vigilant Tide.
How can the UFR take control of the situation without making things worse? Because, of course, anything could happen.
Well, you summoned us here.
Calling to order, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to make this nice and simple, get to the bottom of the exact situation that occurred, and come to a mutually beneficial solution. Hope we can all agree on that.
Fair.
First things first, as I understand it, there have been some unpleasantness between some of the smugglers, shall we say, and the local dissidents. And it's caused a few problems, shall we say, including the destruction of a normal vessel, not one of the smugglers. So, who can tell me who's been targeting whom?
Well, I can assure you that the Vigilant Tide have definitely not been targeting civilian vessels.
And sorry, how is the Vigilant Tide able to tell the difference between civilian vessels, the illicit vessels, and the trade vessels?
The volunteers of the Tide are extremely thorough in their preparations for any sort of hostile action.
I mean, it is indeed hostile. People are getting hurt, so...
Yes, smugglers are getting hurt.
And regular citizens, as the UFR ambassador has pointed out.
That's not a Vigilant Tide action. We're very thorough.
Mistakes happen, but that's unfortunately what these scenarios happen. As soon as guns start getting drawn, innocents get hurt, which is why we are trying to come to a mutually beneficial solution and not keep bringing out the firepower. Do you understand, Councillor Halleck?
I understand that, but if the UFR would, keep a tighter rein on their trade routes, then we wouldn't need to. We're just trying to protect the colony.
I appreciate that. Galabdro, do you have
Councillor
any...
Halleck, if I might intervene here for a moment. I'm getting a report just now that one of your vessels has left orbit and is heading towards a trade ship of civilian nature at this very exact moment. Why would you, in the middle of negotiations, why would the Vigilant Tide be seeking to conduct operations that they deem crucial when we are trying to maintain peace and order?
Let me talk to my people.
Right. Do that before additional people perish, would you? Loss of life being what it is, of course, highly detrimental to everyone involved. However, you're also disregarding the economic impact of what you are doing, what you and your people are espousing.
My people are telling me that this vessel is a smuggler ship.
It is a civilian trade vessel. Regardless of whether or not it even is a smuggling ship, you do not have the authority to simply go and blow it up.
Yes, well, the responsibility for securing the trade routes from illegal trade lies with the UFR, and they have failed us.
If I can just interject really quickly, I think, we all of us here really want to make sure that our citizens are safe and that they have access to the right trade that they're looking for. But
Of course.
Halleck, I'm still not sure how your team are certain that what Caleb Dro's intelligence is incorrect. And sharing that information might be incredibly valuable to the UFR ambassador on ensuring that everyone is safe.
I agree. Let me find out what they're...
Ambassador Keene, if I also might add, can you confirm reports that I have seen recently involving the amount of public support that the Tide has generated recently? That I have seen some troubling information that much of their touted love by the people has been amplified by artificial intelligence and disinformation networks, bots and such that are potentially under the control of maleficent actors. Can you confirm this, please?
I am not entirely have the full notes on that at this point in time, but in these times of controversial news reporting, it's always possible that these kind of things get inflated.
Well, please allow me to send you your own intelligence report on this matter.
Feel free.
This legitimate trade ship. We have heard intelligence from a captured implant dealer that they are bringing more illegal cargo into the system, and the ship has the same markings as one that we previously encountered, bringing illegal drugs into our colony.
So we appear to be at an impasse, whereby we have one side saying that a ship is illegal, and one side saying it is fine. So it makes perfect sense for me to intercept the vessel and find out which way is the truth, I believe. Order has
Excellent. If you're willing to do that, then I will have the Tide stand down.
We have a DSV en route.
while that's happening, I'm just quite curious because we've talked a lot about the Vigilant Tide operations, but will there be any additional support from the UFR or perhaps Caleb Drow from your team when it comes to finding the illegitimate smugglers who are actually bringing these stimulants to the people of my colony? I am quite concerned that regardless, even before the Vigilant Tide were taking action, we were having issues with this, and it wasn't being solved.
Thank you, Governor.
I think there is obviously some concerns here, and a little bit of attention from the UFR is probably required. I mean, heaven fend us, everyone looking to find out what's mutually beneficial for everyone, but the criminal element will sneak in wherever there is lapses in judgment. I appreciate this. However, I would like both parties, or all three, to undertake their own investigations into their own areas, because it appears that mistakes are being made on all sides, Councillor, Advisor, Governor.
Ambassador,
We said review your intelligence networks and find the truth amongst them, please.
I have lost contact with the Vigilant Tide ship. What's going on out there?
I don't know. My vessel is inbound.
To your point, Ambassador, it is worth mentioning that this situation that has been entirely created by Halleck and his people is something that is fomenting a great deal of xenophobia in the surrounding areas, not just this one. If you wish for the trade bloc to be more supportive of this situation, then we need certain assurances that those people interested in economic and valuable trade to colonies such as this can operate without having to worry about being boarded and attacked by random people that they are trying to serve.
The Governor has just explained to you how this situation was fomented by the UFR's inaction.
Excuse me. Most of the time we do not have rebels bouncing around and causing problems. We don't have action unless it's needed. It is obviously needed at this point, and hence we are taking action.
Oh, but it wasn't needed when smugglers were bringing drugs in to corrupt our people.
Since we are now aware, we are addressing the scenario.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, regardless of how it was instigated, the actions that the Vigilant Tide have taken have been exceptionally beyond what was needed. You have pushed to the brink a situation that did not need to be pushed to the brink. If you did so to get attention, well, you have that attention now, and unfortunately it has come at the cost of lives. And surely you can recognize that such actions, even with the intent of trying to be positive, resulted in a negative inference.
Governor, what is the status of the local defence fleet?
I'm not too certain. I can ask. I'm just a little concerned at the moment because I'm hearing that there's a protest, a very large protest at our spaceport currently, and they appear to be angry about smugglers and the trading situation that's currently going on, and I'd just like to get more information on that. But you're asking about our army? Sorry,
Local defence fleet.
Local defence.
We
I'll
don't
check
seem
in
to
on
be doing very much at the moment, despite the heightened tensions, shall we say.
Yes, I'll check in on that. It is worth noting that the issues that we were having with this illegal smuggling was happening for quite a few months, and it was only after that had started that the Vigilant Tide group stepped in. Of course, that's causing a lot of violence and heightened emotions, amongst my colony people, but our security team, so we have a local defense security team, and they're standing, waiting for if we need them for something. I could ask them to defuse the protest, but I'm hesitant to tell my people that they can't speak their mind on what's currently troubling them.
Are they speaking their mind, though, or are they merely amplifying what has been sensationalized to them?
I haven't seen those reports myself personally, so all I can see is that there are people who are protesting what's currently happening, and they are real people who I serve.
Of course, and such people are more than free to do what they wish in these situations in regards to expressing their opinions. I'm trying to get at the root of the concern, though, and that is that all of this has created such a volatile situation that I am uncertain how to move forward positively.
Councillor, what would you like to see going forward?
I would like to see the colony police its own trade lanes, but I would prefer to do it without any loss of civilian life, and that would require ceding of some authority to the colony. Since the UFR are...
We have moved beyond that situation now, Councillor Haddock. It is obvious that the colony cannot police itself. You have proven that in this situation. And if you want to take that stance, then I can promise you that many trade blocks will not be coming back to this particular colony. And you should know that that affects not only yourself, but also the surrounding colonies as well. The Varellan Trade League at this very moment is rather upset at this situation and are not looking to return.
I mean, we've had a previously difficult relationship with the Varellan Trade League regardless, and I think that our colony is eager to have multiple trade routes rather than purely with one that is perhaps physically close. We have the capability to police ourselves and handle this situation on an official level if given UFR
Councillor
support.
Halleck, your people are opening fire on the ship.
Yes,
why are you people
unfortunately,
attacking a civilian ship?
Unfortunately, I was unable to contact them before they went into lockdown for the assault. They are confident that this ship is smugglers.
Councillor, confidence is not suitable evidence. You either present evidence or your people are going to suffer the consequences.
Do you have any reports? Absolutely.
We have intelligence from a captured implant dealer.
Oh, dear.
And I'm receiving a distress signal from the civilian ship that they appear to be a civilian ship as well, from our understanding.
I think the escalation to trying to shoot the ship out of the sky is a little harsh, don't you, Councillor Halleck?
I would prefer that I had been able to contact them and get them to stand down, but I am confident that their evaluation of the situation will be proven.
What, by shooting them out of the sky? Don't you think that's just a little overreacting?
Yeah,
is it designed to hide the evidence of that there isn't any?
Ambassador, I've sent my security team to go and protect the civilian ship.
Thank you.
And find the evidence that we need to determine what exactly is going on.
Governor, that is
beyond
most
just
appreciated.
rumors.
I very much appreciate that, Governor. Thank you. But I must ask Ambassador Keene, why was the UFR not able to protect the ship?
Well, the ship is literally on its way. It will be here in about 12 minutes.
Wonderful. 14 minutes too late.
Well, not exactly.
At this moment, Councillor Halleck,
the appearance of a fully armed military vessel in a trade route is a little bit, confrontational, I might say.
Well, perhaps if we had more fully armed military vessels now and then, we would get less smugglers.
As I said, Councillor, there is the ability to treat things properly, and there is overreacting, which is what I feel that Vigilant Tide appears to be doing.
Well, the people are crying out for someone to deal with the problem.
Yes,
and the UFR has not
dealing with,
met
and
that.
there is outright murder with zero evidence. There are laws in place for a reason, Councillor Halleck.
Obviously, the laws do not apply in this situation according to the Vigilant Tide.
I disagree.
I disagree as well, but the Vigilant Tide apparently do not.
Well, that will be dealt with. There are ways we deal with this thing. It's not going to outright piracy and murder. Thank you very much, Councillor, and thank you very much, Advisor.
I did want to ask a quick question to the trade advisor, if I might, which is just
Please.
beyond the tensions that are currently happening with the Vigilant Tide group. Is there any other concern that your tradespeople have with having business with our colony? Is that the only blocker to ensuring that economically we are stable?
I am very concerned about the rise in this obvious campaign against the trade blocks that has been created due to the Vigilant Tide's actions, and not insignificantly the impact of how it has so quickly seemed to come from nowhere. The broad rhetoric that the Vigilant Tide are espousing in this is being picked up by all manner of social media and, frankly, a not insignificant amount of artificial intelligence and whatnot that is feeding into this frenzy. The vast and quick rise for that cannot be quantified in such easy numbers to appease. This must be spoken about openly and broadly by all leaders involved in this, and the trade bloc is tired of being the only ones speaking out against it.
I do think it's a bit disingenuous to say that it's come out of nowhere, though, because, like I said, we've had months of this illicit stimulus being delivered to our people and causing, high violence rates and drastic health effects to them. Understandably, they want that illegal trade to stop, and as governor, I am trying my best to keep things calm and rational.
Illegal trade often only exists when legal trade is stifled.
To turn things around onto you, Advisor Dro, what controls do the trade bloc have in ensuring that all vessels within a team heading towards one of our places are all dealing with things appropriately? Within a convoy, that's the word I was looking for.
We are not allowed to police our ships. We are not
you should
allowed...
have controls on what goes on them. Standard trade policy.
Absolutely, we certainly do, but we cannot prevent entirely all illicit trade. To put that on us when we are not allowed to even search certain cargoes that might be requisitioned by business that is on such colonies as this, for doing so would violate peace agreements and the like. It's not so easy as that. The governments, the authorities involved are the ones that have the ability to do such things, that have the ability to put in controls and the ability to alter what comes in and out of a place, to be able to search a vessel legally and appropriately without fear of being destroyed. That is where these controls must come.
Absolutely. And in this case, the authorities are the Vigilant Tide. The UFR are no longer needed here.
I disagree, Councillor. It is obvious that there are some needs at port facilities throughout the sector that need to be enhanced, and other things, and turning down of the rhetoric and of the violent nature involved. We can come to the appropriate solution to this without any more lives being lost and blood being shed. I appreciate the smuggling of drugs and other illicit materials is suboptimal, but we can deal with that.
Councillor Halleck.
There's no need for you to deal with it anymore. The Vigilant Tide have the situation in hand.
And how many more deaths are going to be on your hands, Councillor Halleck? Of innocence? Because you haven't proven that anyone is actually illegal at this point in time. And without proof, you have as much blood on your hands as some of the worst criminals in the galaxy.
Are your people live streaming the explosion and attack on a civilian vessel? Is that what's happening at this very moment? Because that's what's appearing on social media.
Our protesters, I'm getting reports that our protesters are shouting your name repeatedly, and getting very, very celebratory in the docks.
The people applaud the Vigilant Tide's decisive actions to keep this colony safe.
But how do they know that your actions are legitimate? I mean, we haven't even seen the evidence in this meeting.
I don't think legitimacy is required for Councillor Halleck at this point. Congratulations, Councillor. I am planning to return to my trade blocks and tell them all that this space is no longer welcome for any activity, food or otherwise.
But would your trade block be willing to reconsider if the Vigilant Tide weren't here? Like,
Absolutely. But
okay.
Good luck defanging that snake.
I'd like to inquire one thing, Advisor Drogue. The social media emphasis my teams have now reporting back to me, they seem to be coming from your systems.
We are monitoring.
No, the amplification and the fake news, for want of a better phrase, seems to be coming out of the trade block.
No, they're coming from outside of the colony, because that's what Halleck wants.
Oh. Seems not like from my end.
I'm not orchestrating any sort of social media. As you can see, the people are behind the tide as a result of our actions.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, it seems to be coming from the League, not you, Dro. My apologies on that one. So is there a reason the League wants to cut off the colony? Can anybody think of that?
I mean, I'm not in contact with anyone from the League. Advisor Dro, are you?
No.
This ship that you're claiming to be a civilian ship, does it belong to the League?
It's a civilian ship, Halleck. It can belong to a great many different organizations. That does not mean that it should be destroyed.
I'm wondering if the League are...
It did belong to the Trade League, yes. The original one, not this one necessarily coming in. Well, we'll do a quick look up on the one currently being attacked.
I'm seeing, UFR Ambassador, I'm seeing from my end an intelligence report showing that the stimulant implant crisis that we've been dealing with for a few months has been manipulated by the Vorlon Trade League themselves. There's a cartel who has been artificially implanting these stimulus, and that the League are responsible.
Yes. And this ship's records appear to have been changed. Let me inquire this a bit further.
Councillor Halleck, your actions today speak volumes. Let me say personally that while I detest you and what the Vigilant Tide are doing, I can appreciate that you want the good of the colony.
Of course.
Are you willing to set aside your career as a leader and face the consequences of your decisions for the good of the colony? If it were to come to that?
I am an elected official.
Are you?
Yes.
Because it doesn't seem like it.
If the people are unhappy with my actions, then they will make it clear.
So the courts do not apply. Laws do not apply. Only the people's voice. Is that what you're saying?
It has been a long time since laws have been enforced in the colony, and we would very much like to take responsibility for doing so ourselves, so that we can police the space lanes safely and thoroughly.
At that
I think
point,
you can safely say, Councillor, that your attitude when it comes to policing is a little excessive, but we appreciate the need.
At that point, there is a shimmer on all of the sensor readings as the DSV Endeavour enters the system to take control. And on that note, we find ourselves at the end of an intriguing moment. Anyone have any thoughts of what's going on?
God. Oh my god! Wait, was that civilian ship a stunt?
That was complicated.
Whoa!
So, Sabrina, do you want to just explain to the others the information I just passed to you?
Yeah, you bastard. Okay, so Oscar let me know that my security ship arrived. The security team arrived to the civilian ship, and the ship was completely on automatic. There were no people on board, no materials on board, absolutely nothing. It was just automatically sailing through.
Okay.
But, not even, civilians on the
did
ship.
Anyone know
just a ship.
Was?
Sorry, what was that?
Did anyone know who owned the ship?
The Varelian Trade League, as far as we know.
The Varelian Trade League owned it. Oh. Did
I mean,
anyone have any messages from the Varelian Trade League?
At the very last minute, I did have a offer of a considerable amount to take control of the colony, and didn't have time to act on it.
To be fair, I didn't have enough time to think. I didn't get the moment. Didn't seem right until the end for me to share that information. Mm-hmm. There was some information I didn't get around to kind of sharing with you, which is who funded your political campaign?
Whose?
You don't know.
Mine? I don't know.
Exactly, you don't know. Anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, Alec has been manipulated this whole time.
It's possible that I missed it, but I think there should have been something in your thing which kind of hinted at you didn't know where your original funding was coming from. But maybe I misremembered putting that in or not. It was definitely something I was planning to put in.
I don't see it.
That's fine. It's fine. It was one of those sort of secret things that doesn't matter if you knew about it or not. I was going to kind of throw it at you. So I should have made it clearer for our ambassador that the trade advisor was a member of the Colony Council, not part of the Australian Trade Empire. That is my fault, because I did think about making Miko part of the trade body, but
sorry.
No, it was good. I think it was actually quite appropriate misunderstanding to make. You're the UFR ambassador after all. Anyone discover any other more interesting things that we missed so far?
Well, Alec genuinely had lost contact with his people. They were doing their own thing, and so when you got the tiger by the tail, you just hold on.
Yes, they stopped talking to you, didn't they?
Yep, they did. So, okay, let's ride this out.
And of course, this wasn't inspired by real-world events in any way, shape, or form. I've tried very, very hard to avoid that.
No, nothing of the sort.
Nothing could possibly be going on in the world. It's actually more inspired by some of the old Trek episodes, where more like the what were they called? What was the whole Kardashian thing? It was the anyway. People know what I'm talking about, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, anyone got any last thoughts? Any comments? So
Wait,
Yeah.
did the trade advisor have any like any secrets?
I had
or were
no
you just
secrets,
a nice
but
guy?
I said everything that was in my notes.
And that's
Literally everything.
intentional, because I didn't want.
Mhm.
I'm always chucking in that everyone's got a secret ploy, and I
felt so
did-
distrustful.
I had no secrets.
Yeah, well, no, because everything was out
Sure.
there. You didn't know
Yeah.
your own secrets.
Alec was just a patsy.
You were a patsy,
A willing patsy.
Apparently, yes.
but you were a true
That's
believer.
so rough.
Yeah, well, but once like the people are behind you, then like your own backers can't get rid of you.
No, exactly. Halleck,
Again.
Halleck.
No parallels with anything happening in real life.
None.
Oh.
It's so
Number
hard
one.
to come up with scenario ideas without being influenced by real world. So hopefully the next episode will have something interesting as well. But anyway, so what we end up with is that the Varelian Trade League were apparently behind all of this conspiracy. Were they the ones smuggling the drugs, or were they simply taking advantage of the opportunity to take economic dominance and perhaps take over another world? What would have been the consequences to them? What would the UFR ambassador have done to call them to account for their actions? What if they'd never been found out in the first place? These are all things that we will never know, but of course, anything could happen. And if you like that, please like, subscribe, share, follow, whatever it is you're doing on the particular format that you are listening to this on, and we'll be back again soon with new scenarios where, again, anything can happen.